G'day, welcome back to Brupeg. We're right in the middle of our DC wiring install and a couple of days away from Damon arriving on the boat to connect everything up. Obviously this is the time that Brupeg decides I'm going to start sinking.
You know, so boats, expect the unexpected.
Brupeg was a sunken fishing trawler that was stripped out and ready for the scrapyard. She's just completed a 10-year rebuild that's brought her back to life. With the help of volunteers and funded by our Patreons, community and subscribers, she'll be crewed by passionate people from around the world. If you'd like to be involved and support the project, please consider joining us on Patreon or subscribe to the channel. There's a link in the description below.
Timeline has changed in the short time that we woke up this morning to now. Something has happened with Damon in his personal life, so there's a bit of a delay. So we hopefully can do all of it. I hope. I think. Sure it'll be alright. Let's push on.
The boat this morning is filled with the sweet sound of running water, dumping water there, and quite a cacophonous pump noise. Our freshwater pump developed a slow leak which rapidly turned into a quick leak and dumped half a ton of water in the cofferdam. Alright, we've got the water down. It's not fully out, but it's far enough that I can stand on the floorboards and work on this pump. So the problem that we have is in here. We think we have a leak. So, can you turn the pump on, Jess? See that? Absolutely pissing out all over the wall and everywhere. The problem is between that joint there and that joint there. So I just need to pull it apart, I suppose, clean up all of that thread tape, get rid of that, and have a real good look at the threads, make sure nothing's damaged, there's no cracks anywhere, and then reseat it. I've had a real good look at this and I can't see any cracks. I think it's nylon, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to crack or anything. I think it was just not tight enough or not sealed enough, I don't know, whatever. So what I'm going to do is put some more tape on this. So all of the joints that I did where I've just done tape and haven't done thread sealant as well as tape have worked really well, and the two joints that came from the factory that came with tape and thread sealant, pipe sealant, were just pissing out. And I don't think it's because of that combo, I think it's because it was loose, but I'm just going to go with what I've done that worked. I'm not a plumber, I may not be doing this right, however, if it doesn't leak water, it's good enough. Alright, it's all back together. So I've re-thread taped like areas where I've had to move them a bit. I may be undoing this part up here and adding in a pressure tank, but the system doesn't need it, it's a nice to have. We've got the tank, we just haven't put it in. But what I have done is redone this, so re-taped it and then tightened it up nice and tight. So we'll see how it goes. Do you want to turn it on, Jess? So just pumping air out of the filters in a second. There's little red buttons on top of each filter, essentially like a little valve, which means you can let the air out, water will come squirting out of them in 2 seconds. There we go. So the pump's still leaking. I need to rip it off, which is more of a job than just repairing it down in the cofferdam. So let's get into that, get the pump out so we can diagnose it properly. So I've got the pump out and the leak is happening somewhere between this housing and that threaded coupling there. And I can't find any like failures. I assume maybe this housing had a crack in it or something like that. It's nylon, so I doubt that that would have happened, but that's what I thought might have happened. But I just physically can't see any failures in there. The only thing I can still think of is my original diagnosis of maybe this thread is not sealing properly and it's just pissing out. So I took the thread sealant off and put new good amount of tape in there, and I thought maybe that would fix it. It reduced it, but it didn't fix it.
I'm wondering if you should just ring and talk to them about it, because it might be something with this particular model that they know really easily, and it's, oh, we've been changing it out every time someone rings.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Just to be sure.
Yeah, alright. We're getting the last of the water out of the cofferdam from a little battery operated pump that we borrowed from Pat. Thank you very much. This thing made life so much easier. So the leak is coming it's pissing out of here somewhere, and I don't know if it's just a case of the thread, like the tape wasn't good enough, or if there's a crack. I can't see a crack anywhere.
I wonder if you should use the sealant and the tape, and retry it and see if that makes any difference.
So that one there, that was tight, it wasn't finger tight, but you can sort of see that's like reasonable seal. That tape is sort of doing what it should do. It's basically dug into it and screw on that way, so we've got to go that way. Oops, that's not enough.
Hi Madison, I'm just messaging with you right now.
Okay.
It looks like it's going lower now.
Dunno.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, it'll be interesting to see if that works.
It's tight. Let's just see how we go. So this is the original tape from factory. I don't know if pink means anything. Probably does. I have no idea. We use yellow, which I think is gas and water, whereas this might just be water. I don't know. But start right from scratch. Let's just get rid of everything. Start from scratch and see if we can like disappear any problems that we've found so far along the way. Big boat leaving. Another single screw non-bow thruster commercial boat, in case you're wondering what it is. I never know how much of this stuff to put on, but I once watched the guy do all the gas work on our old boat, a plumber, and he put about 75 wraps on every join. Can I get one more out of here?
Is it tighter than the last?
Yep.
It feels different.
It's tight there. Alright, so we're ready to test. So we've got a valve up here so we can turn the pressure basically on and off, and then when that's closed like that, we should be able to get roughly 40 psi, and then hopefully that will not leak, and if it leaks there's a different problem. This pump doesn't like self-priming, so Jess is just like filling it up, essentially trying to get rid of any air and water in that system. It'll do a little bit of self-prime, but it's not crash hot with it.
I might just... Oh, okay. Whoa!
Okay, didn't fix the problem. That should not be leaking right now. That should be decent.
You can kind of see where it's coming from one spot.
Huh. Mm-hmm. It's like it's leaking. Look at that. It's bloody bubbling out of it, right, with no pressure on it whatsoever.
Like
yeah.
Great.
Wow. It's just air's just pissing out of it. You hear it?
Yeah, right. Okay, well, it makes sense why we couldn't fix that easily.
Wow, just absolutely. Oh, it's coming out of the housing. It's hard to see, but yeah. Okay, so it's literally coming out of a split in the housing down there. Now that we've diagnosed it as a split housing, there's nothing we can do on the boat that will repair this. We have to get new parts. So it's off to town with the pump so that we can see if we can replace this front housing on the water pump. All right, so apparently these split the housing, which is exactly what has happened. Read at the place that we get our stuff from, J R McCracken, they have stainless housings for these. So we're getting a stainless housing on it so that we can do away with the plastic, which is probably going to fail again if we do another plastic one. Apparently it's pretty straightforward to strip these off. Hey, there it goes.
Some water in there. Bench, they usually come out.
That's a simple system, eh?
Yeah, sometimes they're easier said than done.
Yep.
Of course, now that your video and it won't.
Yeah. There
we go. See, it's popped through.
Yeah,
there.
nice.
Comes out like that. New one in there. Make sure you line up with that front edge there.
Yeah.
A little bit of a pain sometimes.
Boom.
Just like that. Make sure you got it in nice and tight.
Yeah, lovely.
We'll change the O-ring and everything while we're here. A little bit of...
We want to say thank you to everybody that signed up on Patreon over the last couple of weeks. Your support is incredible and we love having you with us. If you're considering supporting a project on YouTube and we're the type of project that you like to watch, we would love to have you join us. There's a link in the description below to be able to check out our Patreon page and join us on there so that we can continue to make our videos for you. Thanks for watching, subscribing and making sure that we can do some awesome projects in the future with your support.
So we've got that all up to pressure now.
Nice.
Put up the pressure. Check we've got no leaks in the case O-ring which we've fiddled with, which is all good. Check mechanical seals not leaking. No other visual leaks or anything we've touched. So she's all good to go. Simple as that.
Brilliant.
Do a couple of tests on the functionality electronics and that'll be it.
So what PSI is that? About 60?
Yeah. This here just checks that the check valve in there is holding, so it's not coming back down. So
Yep.
that's good to go. We'll give it a little bit of a run, and then we'll give it a dry run test. So remove the suction. That's your dry run test. There we go. So that's all your functionality of your electronics tested as well.
Fantastic.
Good to go.
Thank you so much for that.
No worries.
Alright, so now that we've got it back, it's time to reassemble this thing. So you can maybe spot out there, it's very bright, wait for the camera to adjust. The sun has gone down, so it's a race between darkness and getting this assembled, ready to stick back into the boat so we have some water today. Alright, stick you on there. The camera's pretty good at adjusting for light, so it may not look very dark on the camera, but it's actually getting a bit hard to see. Okay, do that. Right, and you go around and up, you go out and down. Alright, ready to put it in. Managed to just beat sundown. It's a pretty nice night, pretty calm. You get lots of birds this time of night, a little wee one zooming along. Walk at loads of them. Fluffy Ducks here loves going out and staring at all of the birds and everything this time of night. Oh, breathe in. Okay, so pump on. Just need to secure it. It's a slightly different dimension in this length here, so hopefully it's all gonna work from our mounts and everything, but yeah, let's get this thing back together. So this mount has a bolt on either side at the back and a hose clamp that goes around this stainless housing and clamps the whole thing down to the stainless bracket that Burke made in here a while back. The dimension here and this length is slightly different, so it pushes the whole pump out ever so slightly, so this pipe has got a little bit more sort of stretch on it than it normally would. It doesn't matter, it should still be okay, but it's a little bit different than what it was before. So this adapter is new. Previously this was a male thread and now it's a female thread, so you need an adapter to get it back to this fitting here, and that's what pushes the whole thing out about probably 15 millimeters, something like that. So that's why there's a little bit of twist on this pipe. It's still acceptable, but it's more than what it was previously.
Can you see there that light colour? You can see the bolts through it. There's a bolt there, there's a bolt there. This is the hatch, the see-through hatch. You can see how thick it is on the rim there.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is. It's great.
It's 20 millimeters thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of obvious in this light, isn't it?
Yeah.
Surface rust from all that water in there, isn't there?
In these areas, yeah.
We need to really.
It was obviously spraying water for a while before we realised.
We need to really scrub that out. And figure out what's going on.
Yeah. You can see why everything takes like 5 times longer than a normal job in here, because there's just no room. So you got to constantly watching to bash your head on things, and you're constantly trying to
Poor Burke, he was taller than me too.
Everything's back together. I have twisted this off to one side because the layout slightly alters where things are because of this new housing, and this here is very, very close. It's basically up against the wall, so I can't have that, but I can rotate that around slightly without causing any drama to anything else, because it's just a threaded fitting at the top, threaded at the bottom, so we can rotate that. I can still see all of the lights and everything when they come on board, and that cable is now nowhere near as bad. In an ideal world, I'll re-drill and tap and move the pump over slightly, but that's quite a bit of work compared to being able to just twist that around slightly. So let's give this a shot, see if we can get some water through here without it blowing holes out the back. That should come on. Pump on. Probably a bit of air in it. I'm just pressing the button at the top. Okay, so I pretty much got the air out of the system. There's a couple of drips leaking out of there. Alright, I just need to tighten that up a little bit. Right, so I've just undone that, tightened that up, redone that back up, and that just allows that hose tail to spin. So pump on, holding pressure, open the valves. Okay, get rid of the air. Okay, so we've got no air, this should turn off in a sec. Right, so it's turned off and it should be at maximum pressure, so these will be under pressure if we press that. Yep, heaps of pressure. Cool, and I can't see any leaks coming out of it. There is water everywhere because basically I splashed water around before, but nothing's dripping. I'm not seeing anything under the bottom here. Just clean that off so we can get a good read. That's pretty good. That one's great. This one here is good, there's nothing leaking. Let's just throw the bung in the end for when we don't want to spray ourselves with stuff. I think we're good. I need to give it a day to go completely dry, but it'll be holding pressure that whole time, and if it's dry tomorrow, then we know there's no leaks. I bet you didn't think that we were going to be doing this as part of the electrical install, but we definitely had to do this as part of the electrical install. Now that we're not filling up with water, we can get back onto the stuff that we really need to be focused on, sticking batteries into a lovely aluminium box. See you next week.
You got